Due to the issues with YouTube and COPPA, I am making it clear that this video is intended for adult viewers only, as some of the craft products used are not appropriate for children. If you're a parent, please use your discretion and common sense. Thank you for understanding. Hi everyone, Janie here with some Christmas card inspiration for you. And one of the cards is already made, but I'll walk you through what I did. And the other card we're going to work on together. I know a lot of you have been waiting to see what I make with the things that came from my In Love Arts craft haul that I shared, and you've been wanting to see how well the products worked. So today I'm going to be using one of the stamps and one of the dies, and I can tell you right now they work beautifully. So let's head on over to the craft table so I can show you. This first card I'm going to share with you is already made, but I'm going to walk you through how I made it because I just love it. So this brick fireplace was made using this wall background stamp from In Love Arts, and I am in love with this stamp. It is just fabulous. And what I did was I stamped it using embossing ink, a clear embossing ink, and I stamped it on a piece of red cardstock, and then I used black embossing powder. And so not only does it look like bricks, but it has texture to it as well. So I thought that was just really awesome. And then I just cut an opening here for the fireplace. And the logs in the fire were created using a Cuttlebug die that is so old. I don't think they've made it for years, but it was really cool die. And this was a Christmas tree that I had cut out just laying around, so I kind of decorated it up a little bit. Fussy cut out this little kitty cat. And then the stockings are actually from a Cricut Imagine cartridge. I don't know if any of you remember the Cricut Imagine, but that's okay because Cricut Design Space still has these, their cartridges in the design space. And so it's a print and cut thing, and I just love it. And then I did something that you can't see, and that's the reason you can't see it, is because I foam taped this up to give it some dimension, you know, so that it actually sinks in here a little bit. And I colored the edges of the foam tape to match, so you can't see it. You don't have this white staring out at you in between these layers. And that's in one of my Tuesday 2-minute tips and tricks. So a really great tip, but I just love how this one turned out. Now for this next card, we're going to make part of it together. So I've got my Misty and I have got my wall background stamp. And I'm just going to lay this on here. Now you notice I don't have any magnets on here, but what I do have is this grid paper, and I can see exactly where, you know, I've got my paper lined up. And luckily this stamp doesn't stick to the cardstock. So let me get that on there. And I'm going to ink it up, and I'm going to be using frayed burlap. And I'm just going to be stamping it on that white piece of cardstock. So just let me get this all inked up here. Okay. And as you can see, it doesn't cover the whole piece of cardstock, but don't worry about it because I will show you. Okay, I'm just going to pick this up and I'm going to move it up here. And I'm going to actually have to get in the way of the camera because I want to make sure I'm getting this lined up good here. Well, I'm going to hope I have that lined up good. Okay. That's the really nice thing about background stamps, especially ones like this, is that, you know, you can just keep adding, you know, if they don't fit the space, they work really well together. And I don't know why I inked up the whole thing. I only needed the bottom part inked up. But let's just get that on there. And there we go. And actually, I wish I would have got down here a little bit more, but that's okay because I like the look. So let me clean this up and I'll be right back. The advantage of having a MISTI is you can go back and touch things up, and I did just that, and then I also inked around the edges using the same frayed burlap. And so the next step is I'm going to get my Cuddle Bug, and we're going to cut an opening right there for the shaker. So one of the die sets that I got from In Love Arts came with 4 of these fabulous wreath dies, and each one of them is different. I'm actually using this one in a video next week, but today I'm using the one that I've already got laying on here, and it cuts out a wreath that looks like this. Okay, and I'm going to run this through my Cuddle Bug, and yes, my plates look absolutely horrible. Actually, I think I want to move this down a little bit. Yeah, I'm thinking. I think that's right where I want it. So we're going to call that good. And I'm just going to put this right through. And by the way, these cut beautifully. But one of the things that I like to do when I am doing intricate dies like this is flip over the plates and run it through again, because some dies cut better facing up, some cut better facing down. I like to do it this way. And another advantage is it really helps it just come right out. So it cuts good the first time, but this way it just literally falls out, and that's what I like, just like that. So now I have that, which is the opening, and already you're going, but wait a minute, it's got these little holes on the sides. Don't worry, you keep watching and you will see. And then don't throw anything away, because you can always use this for something. I may still use it for something. And then, well, I forgot to bring my little pokey thing over here to get all these little things out. But give me 1 second. I just wanted to show you how nicely this all comes out. I've had people wonder, you know, how do those dies work? Are they really good? And I have been really pleased with them. So all I have to do is, you have to be really careful because they're delicate, okay? I mean, you've seen how delicate they are, so just do it slowly. And it comes right out beautifully. Now, I can use this for something else, but I am not using it for today's project, and you'll see why in a minute. Before I start putting the shaker together, I want to stamp a sentiment that's going to show through. So what I'm doing is I am layering this on top so that I know exactly where everything is. Okay. And now I'm actually going to use those little magnets. I didn't use them last time because I didn't need to and they would be in the way. Okay. And now I'm going to take this, which I've already cut out, and it's the exact same die that I used to cut that out. And I'm going to place this right where it needs to be. Let me see here. There we go. Okay, and I'm not putting it in yet. I'm just laying it there so that I can get an idea of where my sentiment will fit. And it looks like it's going to fit right like that. Now, I do something that a lot of you don't do, and that is I actually use the grid marks on my lid to make sure that my stamp is actually going straight. And in order to do that, I'm probably going to put my head in front of the camera, or I'll just turn the camera off for a second. Okay, it is perfectly lined up where I want it. And if you're wondering where that stamp came from, it was from a no-name stamp set that I've had for years. So now I'm going to remove that, but I'm still going to leave this cover on there. I mean, I don't have to anymore. You know what? What the heck? I'll just move it. because I already know that everything is right where I need it to be. So I'll just grab my ink that I didn't bring over here with me. The magic of camera. Here's the ink. Okay, so let me get this all inked up here. Probably have to do that a second time, just to be sure. And that is ready to go. Okay, I've already put tape on here so I can add my acetate. And if you've ever watched me do shaker cards, normally what I would do was kind of mark where the opening is, usually by putting, you know, the piece I cut out right back in. And that way I'd know where to put the foam tape. But because of these little, you know, cutouts here, I'm actually going to do it on this side, which is going to be a first for me, actually, a very first. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to be putting the acetate on this first before I put on any double-sided foam tape. And also, before I put on the double-sided foam tape, I am going to put that wreath, the green one that I cut out, right back in that opening, which is why this is called an inlaid shaker card, because you are inlaying those pieces. This is so hard to see with the light reflecting on it, but it looks like I've got it all in the right place. So the acetate's in, and I'm going to use my fabric softener sheet to go over the acetate so it won't be all static electricity. But before I do any of that, I'm going to put this in. Now you're wondering, well, how are you going to do that? What glue are you going to use that it doesn't show up? You can always use, if you have one of those little fine applicators, you can always add your glue to this, or if you want to use a glue pin, like a Zig two-way pin. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some spray adhesive, because I just feel that that's going to secure it best to the acetate. And so I'm going to go spray this and put it in, and I'll be right back. Okay, I just wanted you to see what it looked like with that inlaid in there. And of course, it's not hooked to the card yet. I just put it over there so you can see it. And now I have a second wreath, and I'm going to add that to this, just to give it a little bit more to it. And so again, I'm going to have to do this off camera because I'm going to be spraying it, but I'm going to put that on, and I'm going to put this on, and well, we'll see what else I do to this. But most of it I won't do until after we add the shaker. I mean, like, I'm not going to add this and some other stuff, but I will add this, and then I'll be back and we can do the shaker. Okay, well, off camera, I added that other wreath, which I think looks perfect on there. And while I was at it, I added 2 layers of foam tape so that it is ready to add the shaker elements. Well, almost ready. I'm going to get my fabric softener sheet here first, and I'm just going to wipe all around in here and around the edges of the tape and all over the acetate. Okay, there we go. Now let's add some shaker pieces. And I think I'm just going to add some red and green. So these are just little tiny red seed beads, but they make good little shaker pieces. I don't know how much to add. I never know how much. Do you guys ever have that problem with shaker cards? You just don't know how much to add? Because that is one of my big problems. If somebody has an amazing hint on this, let me know. Okay, let me get some green here. Let's see, which green do I want to use? I think I'll use these right here on the top. They look nice. Okay, add some of those. And that looks like to be plenty.
By the way, if I haven't already said it, for those of you that are watching and you may not know how to make shaker cards, this really isn't a shaker card tutorial, but I will put links below in my description box to a couple of shaker card tutorials, including one of my tips and tricks on how to do inlaid shaker cards. Okay. I think that's enough, only because I don't want to overdo it and hide the sentiment. And so I hope it's enough. Okay, so next I'm going to be taking off all of this tape, and I'm going to be putting the card on the front of it. So I'm going to do that. Like I said, this isn't a tutorial. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be back, and I'm going to show you what the card looks like finished. And here it is, all finished. I added some red rhinestones as berries in all the right places on that wreath. And up here I added the big holly leaf, and I added a bow, and guess what? There's just the right amount of shaker stuff in there. It's perfect. I don't know how I managed to get it perfect, but isn't that just beautiful? I really love this brick wall background stamp. And I really love these wreath dies. They are just awesome. So many possibilities. And again, there's that wall background stamp. Just beautiful. I'm so happy with how these cards came out. And, well, I hope you like them too. And like I said, if you need a shaker card tutorial, I'll put a couple links down in the description box below.
Thank you all for watching today, and I hope this gives you some ideas for Christmas cards. And if you need a shaker card tutorial, remember there are links below. I'm going to put a couple of them down there for you. Just click where it says show more and it'll drop down, and then you'll find links to that as well as links to In Love Arts Craft Shop and links to the products that I use today. Well, not all of the products that I use today, but that stamp and that die. They'll be linked below, and even more important, there is a gift code down there, well, actually a discount code for 15% off your order at In Love Arts, and so don't miss it. Look down there. Don't miss it, okay? And be sure to use that when you place your order. Well, if you place your order, but I can't imagine you're not. And don't forget they have free worldwide shipping on orders of $25 or more. So I don't mean to sound like an advertisement, but I'm really in love with this place, and In Love Arts is a really great name for it. Happy crafting, everyone. Bye-bye.